Yo.
Where's your wine? I feel like
I'll get my wine. Yo. What's up? Welcome back to the Assorted Kiwi podcast, aka Origins. It's been a while, but we're on the cow couch again. And if you've been familiar with kind of the sort of Kiwi journey today on the podcast, you might be familiar with the guest to my right. We did it on the old digital sort of thing last year, which is dope when we kind of first started and kind of get to know each other, but a lot's kind of changed as well as like, well, you know, besties, you know, not necessarily, but in terms of getting to know each other and shit, you know, in terms of what, and supporting each other from far, it's been quite cool to see. And got Ren to the right of me, and it's honestly it's super cool.
This pump.
To have you here finally on the couch. Shot J night.
Oh, you got a drink.
But yeah. But yeah, we're finally on a cow couch. It's probably been like talking for over like 6 months, like of like you wanting to come up and just actually chop it face to face, because in a digital trying to kind of get to know one another or have podcasts over Zooms is a bit
fucking lagging.
That laggy. Yeah, hard. Yeah, we can swear. It's no censoring, you know. Like, you can do whatever you want. But for those who are not too familiar with you, and this is probably as structured as we will get, I'll do my best way of doing an intro, and then you can fill in the gaps, because I feel like when I first met you, you're kind of very early on this journey that you are on in terms of confidence coach. And I definitely want, like, I didn't necessarily know what that meant, to be honest, like when I first met you, because I just thought that it was like hot girls on Instagram, same with our life coaches on Instagram, and you know, is that just a thing?
Is that just a thing?
Is that what they, you know, just in terms of the posts that they do? But then getting to know, it's more than just social media. It's actually communicating with people on their daily sort of lives and like coaching them outside of just Facebook posts or TikTok posts.
Yeah.
Which I think that's kind of the misconceptions of, you know, when people say that they're a confidence coach. And I don't know, maybe, I know off air that we talked about your journey from when it started to now. You probably didn't think that you were going to get to this point, right?
No, it's crazy. Hi, I'm Ren. Welcome. So I am. I'm a female confidence and empowerment coach, and like you said, it's crazy. You almost set this goal, and then you're like, surely, you know, like one day we'll get there, kind of thing. Yeah. But everything kind of just popped off, for a better wording, and it just it took off. Everything skyrocketed. I got lots of clients really quickly, and.
When did it officially start? It's been over a year now, right? Like So it's like what, May. Feb. So a year and some change. Feb 2021.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Literally.
Because how did you even?
I started making money was definitely Feb.
Because why did you even choose to get into it anyway? Because you're what, 20 in the early 2021? Like, what was the kind of the catalyst for you to even consider doing confidence coaching? Was it just because you had your own confidence coach that you confided into at that point, or you were on that journey, or what was the gap that allowed you to think, I could do this and kill it, you know?
I was studying psychology, and it was really good. It was really fun. You know, it's educational. It's all of the things that a degree is supposed to give you. But I watched a lot of people go through the mental health wellness system. And I didn't agree with how that happened. I've been through it. I was just like, no. There must be. It's just very westernized. Like it's very.
Like very prescriptive, very black, like
just
very
black and white,
and
like
boring and textbooky. Yeah, exactly.
And I was like, hold on.
Too many words, not enough like kind of feelings and actions.
Not personality. But
or relatability.
Yeah, I was just like, what the fuck? I remember I went to my doctor and I was like, I have anxiety because I have high functioning anxiety, and he was like, here's some pills. And I was like, I don't even know what this is though. Like, explain to me what this is. And he was like, oh, well, like, you can do therapy. And I was like, oh, okay, let's do that. And so I got into therapy really young and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It made a huge difference in my life. But I guess just looking at how everything is so westernized, and I was like, there must be something else. Like, surely not everyone in the world needs to be put on antidepressants.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just need
The
a
tools to
listening
be able,
ear.
or the
Yeah.
tools of being able to break it down. Like, I mean, that's when I've kind of been going on a journey since I've kind of got familiar with your stuff, and like, even though you're a female empowerment coach, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the kind of core ethos. I mean, anyone can kind of take everything that you put out there as kind of learnings. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not, you know, a
absolutely.
female, I'm just a dude, but like, you know,
Yeah.
what you're putting out there on Instagram or how you're using your words can relate to many rather than just the sex, you know what I mean?
Thanks.
Which is
Yeah.
cool. And I think like it provides those tools to at least get some better understanding of yourself or get on that journey, because if you
Yeah.
don't have the tools in front of you, then it's hard to even know which way to go. Eh?
Yeah, 100%. And like the whole female or women's coaching is purely, I just find that when you work with the opposite sex, like it's a little bit difficult. It's really hard, especially for men in like New Zealand in particular, to open up because it's so abnormal to feel things. So if you
Yeah.
want to go and unpack your life's trauma, it's probably better to do it with a guy who you can relate to on a whole different level. So that's why it's just purely
Yeah, I get
purely
you.
females.
I get you.
You know.
But that's just cool. Like, and did you like before you actually start doing it yourself? You're like, hen on, oi, like I'm actually learning to actually apply these tools to myself. I don't necessarily need like
Yeah.
you know any other, you know, it's not, you know, not to use medication and stuff like that. Sometimes like that's my experience. Like, it can be like a way to at least normalize the way you're thinking to get to the position to learn tools or be in the environment. You know,
Absolutely.
it isn't like one way or the other, but like
Yeah.
it's kind of cool to be able to, once you have those tools, see people progress in a way of like,
Yeah.
oh wow, they just needed that little like
Just something.
make it something clearer.
You know?
Or
Yeah,
you know?
like I remember, like obviously medication works for a lot of people, and if it works for you, then it works for you, and if it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But something that one of my therapists told me was like, every time that you feel anxious about something, put it on a scale of 1 to 10. And if it's above a 6, then it has to be recognised and like dealt with. And if it's below a 6, it just needs to be acknowledged. And so if you're having a high functioning anxiety moment or a panic attack, for example, and then you're like, oh, I'll just take my pill every morning to cope with that. If you can understand what's actually happening in your brain in that moment, like you become more in control, and we're not just like covering it with like a cute little band-aid.
Yeah, I get
You know,
you.
we're understanding what our
You're
bodies...
getting more familiar with like your
Yeah.
body and your mind of like what triggers like
Yeah.
I don't
think
know,
that's
to having
so
too much coffee can make you on edge, you know, or not enough sleep.
Yeah.
Those basic sort of requirements, I guess,
Yeah.
like of
But no one looks at that because it's just very textbook. You know, it's like, oh, I'm not sleeping, I'm super anxious, I have depression. Okay, cool. Well, now you're just clinically depressed. And it's like,
it's
well,
like nah.
maybe I'm just stressed from life because I'm going through my 20s and I'm trying to navigate, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I mean, it's like breaking it down in a non-textbook way.
Mm.
Probably has a hell of a lot. I mean, that's just in the day and age that we live in now. It's more visual, audio sort of way of
Yes.
digesting information.
Yeah.
Whether for some people it's good, bad, or indifferent, but it means that you can at least like learn probably quicker because you can translate like hearing
Yeah.
stuff or watching stuff quicker than reading, because reading you have to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get bored of this, like you know.
Yeah, that's how, I guess, for me, that's what it was all about. Like,
A
when
visual
I-
learning. You know.
Yeah, totally. And like just hands on, and just once you understand who you are inside and out, you can kind of navigate life in a whole different perspective. Like if you just listen to what everyone tells you you're supposed to know, you know, about yourself or about your mental health, and it's like, oh, and then you learn about it and you're like, oh, that's actually completely fucking different.
Yeah.
You know, and I
Because-
don't actually need to be on these pills, or I don't need to be doing this. I just need to learn about myself.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's essentially what I do, is just show people a different way to deal with their problems that isn't so textbook. You know, like, oh,
Right.
you have intrusive thoughts, welcome to the world. We all do.
Yeah.
Like, it's very
And
normal.
what are intrusive thoughts?
Yeah, and like how to deal with them instead
Yeah.
of just accepting that they're there and then just being like, yeah, cool, they're there, that's fine,
Yeah.
that's just a normal part of my day. It's like, well, actually, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have to wake up in the morning and hate yourself.
No, it can just change in a kind of split second.
Yeah.
Like,
Literally.
by doing like things that get you out of bubbles
just
and,
reprogramming your brain and being like, okay, where's this thought coming from? Why do I think it's there in the first place? And 9 times out of 10, it's not even your belief system, it's someone else's who you've just grown up with, or like we said, you know, it's been told to you, and so you take it on.
Yeah, or like you kind of, I don't know, you had an interpretation of a situation. It was your own interpretation, but you were completely wrong.
Yeah.
And then you fabricated this whole like thing in your brain of this is a reality, but really it's just a reality that was in your head at the time.
Yeah,
it's not
just
necessarily.
goes from like 1 to
just goes
10,
a bit,
like
yeah, accelerates,
1 to 100,
eh?
and it's like, whoa.
Yeah, just like slow down. And now it's like,
Take
and was that like journey of your own self sort of, you know, enablement or empowerment, and bringing your own confidence into Kiwi, was that kind of a journey before you prior to actually having your own business, or were inherently have you kind of been learning in the past year? I'm learning as I'm going with you guys out there, but I'm kind of learning like real life learning because your content is like that. Like you're very transparent, which that's what I like about it. But it isn't just like, hey, here's the.
No,
you can still be text.
No,
but you can you can still do textbook stuff on Instagram, but you're not being like, hey, I have good days, bad days, because people can still display a textbook instead of a leaf of paper. It's an Instagram post.
Yeah, literally.
But you can actually be more transparent by saying, okay, I'm having a shit day, guys. Like, hey, good morning.
Yeah, good
but
morning.
Like,
I go to bed at 11 because I'm human. Yeah, my whole thing is like just authenticity. And I definitely did, I did a lot of therapy and a lot of like life coaching before I started my business, because I think it's important to understand who you are before you try and help other people. But you
100%.
also need to be constantly helping yourself as you help other people.
Yeah,
you know,
like the equation,
I can't sit here and take on your shit and then have no one else for me personally to go and offload that to.
Yeah.
You know, like you have to be working on yourself constantly. But yeah, I just think authenticity for me is the key, because everything is so fake and everything is such a massive highlight reel.
Yep.
And it's like, not everyone feels great, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Even if you're a quote unquote professional or influencer, like, you know, you're still human.
Yeah, and
I don't have my shit together as much as I think people assume because of what I do, but I'm still human.
Yeah, it's interesting, like, because are you familiar with like Sarah Kelsey, One Up Project?
Yeah.
So like she was like
Shout
our second, Sarah. Shout out Sarah, like, because she was the second one on the pod that we ever started doing it, and she's authentic as well, but she was like saw that opportunity to find that she needed the need for herself in terms of financial literacy and stuff, and then she's like realized it was a good opportunity to talk about. But she's very much like, hey, I'm learning from everyone I have on my podcast, but I'm learning as I'm going on. Totally. And it probably changes the dynamic of, rather than sharing information that someone may not be interested in, just following someone who has picked a lane and following their journey and being you're part of the journey as well. Like you're not having to force to get content, but you can go to of like, hey, I want to see how she's going.
Totally.
And she's honest about, and like yourself, honest about, hey man, like this is a new bit of information, or this is a significant change in my life at the moment. And it's, you know, it's boss bitch energy, like having a business, but man, it's hard and all that sort of stuff too.
Yeah. Oh, fucking absolutely.
It isn't just like, yo, it's a, man. Like,
yeah, no, and I think anyone who says that, you know, their life is rainbows and sunshine is fucking lying. Exactly. Because no one knows what's going on, like 90% of the time. You know, like some days I just wake up and show up and do what I need to do, and I'm like, oh my god, like I have a fucking business. Like what?
Yeah.
You know,
that's
but
crazy.
I think authenticity is key. And I think that's where you build a community with people, because we're no longer, like, I can teach you how to be confident, and I can teach you how to set boundaries. I can read off a textbook. Anyone can do that. You know, I can make a PowerPoint and show you that. But if I'm not, I guess, embodying that same energy, then you're going to get bored, because you're just learning something all the time. You're not seeing that I'm a real person.
And you put it into actions, and seeing the nuances in those actions as well.
Yeah.
By doing so.
Yeah, like practice what you preach.
Yeah. And just like be open to learn and listen to other people's, not being like scared of like knowing everything, because no one does.
Oh, no.
So like I think that's probably another element of like strength of having, you got to learn other people's point of view.
Totally.
To be out, you know, and like, hey, no, I see what you actually, man, it's a different situation.
Yeah,
I've
even
never
if you
gone through
disagree
that
with it.
I've never gone through that situation
Yeah.
before.
It's just holding space. It's
Yeah.
just being like, I don't know everything. And for me to say that I do would just be like
Ignorant,
so
yeah.
egotistical. Yeah, and ignorant. Like 21 years old, I don't know shit in comparison to a lot of people. So yeah, it's all about learning, but I think the authenticity is key, because when I look to work with people, I want to see that you're a human being who's gone through similar things that I am, and you're not waking up at 5 a.m. and doing your fucking 17-step morning routine and life is perfect and amazing and we're making millions of dollars by the end of the day. You know, I want to see that you're tired at 2 p.m. like I am.
Yeah.
It's okay to take naps and rest, and not everyone feels good all the time. So I think that's the main message, just authenticity.
Yeah, because that was what I was kind of just thinking, because like you were saying, like, Ren, confidence and empowerment coach.
Yeah.
But is it like, are those confidence and empowerment, are they byproducts of being authentic, or is
100.
so it's
100.
like if anything it's still
Authenticity
authenticity coach. If you
Yeah.
think of, like, I don't know, I'm just thinking like, you know,
I
I
think
know
the
they're all related,
confidence-
they're all related to one another in a like kind of a beautiful marriage of life understanding, but
I would.
it's
That's
kind
the
of
thing,
a,
like,
it's a
I
kind
don't
of,
even know what to name myself. You know, like I'm kind of just Ren, the coach. Period.
and that's kind of how you want to like have it. It's like how anyone wants to be known as like someone who's authentic and is about their shit, you know,
Totally.
about
And
what they're wanting to do.
And I think they do. They definitely work together cohesively very well, because if you have confidence in who you are because you're being authentic, in turn you're gonna feel empowered.
Yeah.
You know, you're gonna feel like a boss ass bitch, because you know in yourself, like, this is who I am.
Yeah, and I mean that's the whole being authentic of, and I've probably been on that journey. I mean, I've been on a journey for a long period of time. Like everyone has that journey, but I probably had a hard look at myself. Probably like top of last year, where like significant life changes happen.
That was me. Like,
where I was
3
like,
months ago.
yeah,
I was
we
like,
were
what
kind
the
of
fuck are we doing?
But I mean, like, to be honest, like it's kind of what I want to get into, because like
Spill the tea.
like the whole thing of like, I mean, I started my whole outside of my head assorted work top of last year. Like everything was in my head, because I was too scared to like, I don't know, put stuff into action or press a record button or talk to people about it.
Yeah.
But I was so in my head for a while, and being at the top of last year.
Shame.
But that's where I like, as you know, had like breakup and environments and stuff like that, and that changed drastically. And then I was like, hey, no, I'm by myself. Okay. Man, I mean, I always talk to myself, always quite introspective.
Yeah.
You know, driving in the car, having good thoughts.
Schizophrenic, no kidding.
But
That's a joke.
yeah, that's a joke. But I would, like I definitely have like highs and lows with stuff, but then it was like opportunity to kind of get to know myself in the process. So then I was like, I really want to be doing this. I don't want to necessarily be doing my 9 to 5 corporate job that I've been doing for the last 10 years, which it was really, really good. Learned some good skills, right?
You just got more potential.
But I was like, no, I wanted to actually put this into action, because it fuels something inside me for me, not anyone else. So it was just kind of starting to break. And I've said it to a few of the homies before. I want to get your like opinions on it. You kind of talked about it. It's that the putting oxygen, you know, in the plane. You just came off a plane. You know, the health and safety messages and stuff, and what they say, like, put oxygen on yourself before helping other people, is so inherently true, because you need to kind of give yourself space to breathe and be able to give yourself oxygen before you can even talk to anyone, whatever type of relationship it is, friends, family, whatever.
That's a great analogy.
It's a good one. My granddad used to say it to me, but he never really got on a plane, so he was just like, the flies are... No,
that
it's hot in here.
That is my pet peeve.
Yeah, no, this place is horrible for flies.
But I
But
love that analogy, because I was always told, like, you need to love yourself before you love someone else. And I was like, no, you can love yourself with someone, you can grow together, it can be this big cohesive thing. No. Because at the end of the day, like, you are the only person that truly matters in your life. Like, if everyone was to disappear or die, like, you're left, you know, like, it's you. So if you don't understand who you are, inside and out, your highs and your lows, your good and your bad, then you're kind of just going through life existing. And I think for me, like the whole purpose of life is to get to a higher vibrational frequency.
Yeah.
And so if you can become the best version of yourself at whatever stage in your life you're at, that's what it's about.
And that's kind of when the vibrational frequency, you start tapping into that,
That's
changes start happening. But I mean, the changes in your life start to happen without you really realising it.
Yeah.
You know, like things like your journey of the last year.
Yeah.
Or my own journey of the last year, just from getting to know myself and being a little bit more open, surrounding myself with people who are like either like-minded or inspire me to be able to do stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Unlock chambers in your brain or how you're feeling in yourself to push on forward. Like the last year for you, so starting in February,
Yeah.
like what was the kind of that first like milestone of like, yo, shit, I'm doing this, like from February, kind of, it has been a whole year, right? So
Yeah.
what was that first major milestone of like,
So I
yo,
was...
dope, I'm doing this?
So I remember I was sitting in my uni dorm and I was just so depressed because, like, uni is great for people who are for that, you know? I've always been like, yeah, that would be...
And when you mean for that, like for like getting to know people and doing the whole uni experience sort of thing? Yeah.
100%. Or just, you know, like some people are built to be lawyers and some people are built to be accountants and teachers and, you know, and I always thought like I'm built to help people. And so my brain was like, right, how do we do this professionally and a 9 to 5 that's going to make me lots of money so I can be stable in life? That's what you're conditioned to believe. That's what you do. And so I was like, cool, we'll go and get a degree.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting on my dorm floor and I was talking to my dad on the phone and I was just like, I'm really unhappy. And he was like, well, what do you want to do? And I was like, well, I want to come home for one and I want to start my own business. And he was like, okay. But you know, like you need to fucking do it. Like we can't, it's not something that we can like start and finish and then like give up on.
But like you're taking the plunge of actually like, nah, it's not just an idea, but actually like...
we're going to do it kind of thing.
Hard out.
Yeah, and so I remember I moved home like that week, flew back from Wellington to Horsefame, was like, cool, we're going to give this a really decent shot. And I was like, cool, I'm going to quit my job, and was like just living on the bones of my ass essentially, and was like, right, we're gonna make this happen. And the first week I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah. Like, what have I done?
What have I done?
Yeah.
I just dropped my degree. I just told everyone that I've known that I'm not studying anymore, like it's not happening kind of thing. And I was like, oh my god, like I'm literally, like we're starting from scratch.
Yeah.
And then went to bed, woke up the next morning, I was like, right, we're gonna fucking do this. And I remember I put a post on Instagram and I was like, I'm starting my own business. It's going to be, I think at the start it was like Wellness by Ren or something like that. And everyone was like, I can't wait, I'm excited. It was like 100 DMs or something, like something stupid like that. And I was like, oh my god, this is going to work.
Yeah.
You know?
Because of that indication of like people who knew you, like, oh, like, yo, you're going after what you want. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for me, it was definitely quitting the degree. I think I might have put it on hold, but just telling my parents was a huge thing because I was... like I'm the oldest and you set an example.
And that pressure of like preconceived like kind of expectations. Yeah. But then ultimately you kind of come down to realise that as long as basically that you're happy and you want to do what you need to do, that's for the betterment of yourself and other people, then you can't fault that, you know?
Yeah. I think
rather than going down a system that's not meant for you and coming to resent it and then regretting and
yeah, I think 9 to 5s, there are some people who are built for 9 to 5s and there are some people who are built to just live their most authentic life and chase their dreams, and I'm definitely one of those people. Yeah.
It's even the balance of 9 to 5. It depends what you're doing in 9 to 5.
Yeah, if you love a 9 to 5.
Or if you're hard out. Or if your 9 to 5 is just like quite mentally draining and you want to like leave after you're 5 to 9 at night, you want to be inspired to do stuff, but you're mentally drained. Maybe that's not your need and want. You know, set list is not the right.
And I think we're all stuck in our comfort zone because we're so conditioned to believe that we need to make a shit ton of money and be stable and blah blah blah. Yeah. And my advice for that is like what my dad's very spiritual, but he was always like, he's like, your happiness is the key to life. So if you're not happy, you need to fucking change something. Yeah. Whether that's your job, the person you're with, the friends you have, you need to change these things in your life, step out of your comfort zone until you are happy. Because once you hit that, like you can be dirt broke living in a house with 17 of your friends and the happiest you've ever been.
Exactly. I think it's, and I mean that's probably how what you do for people is understand what their inherent need drivers are.
Yeah.
Or like even allow them to discover, okay, oh, this is actually what I want to do. Oh, I need to actually make this change.
Yes.
Because this is what I want to be able to do. This is a roadblock that's in my way.
Oh, dude, it's my
But
favorite
then it's that,
thing.
and that's it, what you said, the bread and butter. But
Yeah.
it's like quite like when you get to
Sole purpose.
see people to get to those points of, hey, no, this is what I need to do this, and this.
Yeah.
Or
That's the best.
the process of unlearning.
Yeah.
I feel like that's another thing.
Everything you've ever fucking
Yeah.
been taught that doesn't agree with you. Like something that I always thought in my business is that I was going to be constantly educating. But my thing is I almost see the potential in people and show them that there's a different way to get there.
Yeah.
Like my clients struggle with confident issues, but not because they're unconfident. It's just because they've been conditioned to not be in that energy. Like you can't be a powerful woman that has opinions. It's not a thing. And
how we were how you grow up in terms of
so just almost giving someone permission. Like I have this one client, bless her soul, and she was like, I want to be a bad bitch, and I was like, you can. I'm not stopping you.
Just do it.
Yeah, you know. So I think for me, like that's what it's all about. It's just showing people that there's just you can do whatever the fuck you want. Like you literally can.
Exactly.
Whether you're spiritual or not, you can manifest that. You can attract that into your life.
Yep.
Or you can realize that you have a lot of potential and your happiness is the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
You know, even to people who are like super passionate, even if you were a garbage man and you're like, I fucking love my job, I'd be like, man.
Hard out. If you're happy,
if you're happy, that's all.
Exactly.
That's all that matters. You don't have to be making $millions of dollars every year to be successful.
But it's kind of what I want to touch on because like it's always like whenever you get on some sort of business or like endeavor, it can be quite stressful. But of like you said, like being able to stay afloat. No. I'm probably airing my dirty laundry a little bit. Not necessarily dirty laundry, but like
just honesty.
Honesty, right?
I fucking agree. It's hard.
It's hard because like, I'm kind of in the last year trying to like that balance of what I want to do, what I feel is right in terms of Assorted and everything that I do, but then also having that time for myself. And then also the balance of like, okay, I need to actually make some money to survive. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm a bit at least enough to, pay my bills and shit like that, right? Because I get so much like kind of gain, like emotionally from the stuff that I'm able to do and talk to people,
Yeah, totally.
But like, I just picked up doing like tomato picking out on like 6 to 6.
Yeah, well, I had
but that's dope.
Job
but that's me.
Probably like 6, 7, 8 months.
Yeah.
Because I think too, when you start running a business, which is such a weird thing to say out loud.
Yeah.
But when you start running a business and you start making money, you always have this core belief system that it's not going to work out because it's so different. To
like they failed in a way, yeah. Hard.
Like you're a 21-year-old entrepreneur, like there's no fucking way. Yeah. Like that was my core belief system for a while. So I was like, okay, I need to have a stable, quote unquote, job to keep me going, kind of thing.
To get to the point of, okay, where you can actually do it yourself, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was saying about like the whole tomatoes thing where, for me, at least for where I've kind of rephrased my life in terms of my new degree. So like last year was my first year of this life degree, that whatever it is, right? Yeah. Say it's degree Assorted, degree Ren, authenticity coach, right? So your first year is like, man, it's all new experience, but you're hands-on doing your shit, right?
Yeah.
And then by the end of, Feb, March, the following year when you start it, you're like, okay, fuck, that was all right.
Yeah.
There's so much good that happened, but so much, fuck, I wouldn't do that again. Yeah. But then I get on to your sophomore year of your life degree or moment, and then you're like, okay, I'll rinse out the sponge and leave the positive the positive shit, like the sponge, and I'll rinse off all the crap and dirt and, and then apply what I learned and then put it into the next year, and I'm like, okay, this is my sophomore year of my little degree or whatever it is.
I love that.
That was kind of how, when I came to that realization, and that's where I want to talk to you about, like, the whole pressures of when you say to your friends and family, hey, I'm going to do a business, and then you kind of...
Do we have time?
But I just, to the point of the unnecessary pressures that you kind of put on yourself, because other people, you don't know if they're looking or not, but you feel that they are because you've put it out into existence that you're doing this, right? So you have this fabricated this kind of milestone that may be realistic or unrealistic, but it sometimes can get you bogged down because you may not be achieving it the way that you have foreseen it, right?
Yeah.
So maybe talk about that process in the last year, because I think that's incredibly important for. It's not a roadblock that you can't navigate. Like, so talk about that, because I think it's like there's been so many roadblocks, but you're going on that journey just like other people, right?
Absolutely.
You're on your little degree that you're doing this, not
my
textbook
own
degree, but your own
degree.
personal. Ren, whatever it is, you know?
Might have to have a rebrand. But so when I first started, I remember I sat down on my mum and dad's bed and I was like, okay guys, I'm going to start a business. I'm going to be doing therapy, essentially.
Just,
one-on-one coaching, people pay me and I help them change their life, you know? And I can confidently say that that's what I do now. Asked me 8 months ago what do we do?
You're kind of at the point of like, not necessarily imposter syndrome, but feeling like I'm not I don't feel qualified doing this, or how can people take me seriously, or
Literally.
not assuming that's the case, but
No, but
just feeling those
that's it though. I remember I told my parents and they were like, how?
They're like,
I don't fucking know, but I'm going to figure it out. And then I told my friends at the time, and I was like, I'm starting a business, I'm quitting my degree, I'm going to do it. And they were like, how? And I was like, I don't know, but I'm going to be successful.
I'm going to figure it out.
And I'm going to figure it out. And everyone around me was like, you're dumb, like you're stupid. There's no way. There's no way. You're so young. You don't have a degree. There's no qualifications. Good luck, kind of thing. And so I think for me that was huge, because for the first time in my life I had to look internally and go like, Ren, do you want that? Do you want to run a business? It's not about what other people think.
If you want to do this path or hop in this car that you've created, or
yourself. Like no one else is there to support you, you know, like it's about you. And so that was probably the first like initial pressure where I remember I sat for like 3 days and I was like, am I fucking crazy? Like, am I? There's no way. And then something clicked and I was like, no, you're doing this and you're going to do it really well and you're going to be known in 6 months time as Ren, blah 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 blah. People are going to know who you are and you're going to be running a successful business. But I think at the start, there's so many external pressures, and there's also like the financial side of things, and like even like if you are making money, which is great, like for a lot of people I think that's the hardest part. For me it was like people wanted to work with me, I just had no fucking idea what I was doing. You know, like
it's cool that people would like you off the bat, people were attracted to work with you, but then that kind of inherent like, okay, that's awesome, but man, we're gonna have to get sticky now, because like I'm gonna have to actually do this. Like, it isn't just like a.
It's not just a fun thing that we're advertising on Instagram.
And that's my point. That was my point. Like, because I think I probably inherently, like, I'm not assuming other people out there have misconceptions, but it's understanding like what are confidence coaches, and like when you see it on Instagram, they might just be saying it, but are they actually doing it? And that's not to assume that that's the case, but I just don't necessarily know. That people exactly what they actually do. Like, there's enough one thing talking about it, but actually taking a choice of like, you know, working on 5, 10, 20 different people on an ongoing basis. It's actually real. It isn't just talking about it. It's actually they're part of your life as much as you are to them as well. So
100%.
It translates out of a digital environment of just social media. Like,
and I think anyone can post anything, you know. Like, Jay can jump on and be like, right guys, here's 5 ways to set boundaries. You know, like you can do whatever you want to do. You can say whatever you want on social media, but I think you have to practice what you preach. And
actually bring it into the real world. The real world, And
I can do that. I can be an influencer. I can promote brands and I can post photos, like cute photos with nice captions, but if you're not actually, for me, it's all about like making a proper difference, you know, like one life at a time kind of thing.
And there's probably the milestone that you probably inherently had when you started it. It's like, okay, if I get to a year, if you thought about it or not, if I at least have like one client that I've seen from when I first met them to then, at least one, then that's like...
My whole thing was 3. I was like, if I can consecutively get 3 clients every turnover, I'm doing well.
And every turnover in terms of a year. So
No,
like
3 months.
3 months.
Yeah, so
So
every
you
time
have a 3-month
6,
course.
Yeah.
Got you.
Yeah.
And that was that,
Now
and you
we've
already
got
had
9.
that. That's sick.
And then 5 group coaching. So we're doing well, but going back to the whole like starting from scratch, yeah, it's fucking hard. And you wake up every morning, you're like, what the fuck am I doing? And then you're posting stuff, people aren't responding very well. I remember this guy messaged me on Instagram like first 3 months of business. He's like, you have no qualifications, you have no say, you can't stop. And I was like, oh, that makes me want to work a little bit harder.
This was, it's, you kind of use that as fuel. And unintentionally, or whether intentionally they say it on purpose because they realise that there's a potential in yourself.
Yeah.
Like they say it a negative thing, not because they're being negative, but
No.
they're like, I see potential in this person. I'm going to throw her
Just
or
fuel
him
me.
like this, fuel you with this negative thing.
Yeah.
And if it was a person that you kind of looked up to in business or something or rather, and they said that, then if they didn't care, they wouldn't say it in the first place potentially, you know?
Totally.
So if you, again,
100%.
reworking your brain of not just taking it as like,
No,
okay,
it's not an insult.
It's
They're
like,
they're either projecting how they truly feel about themselves. They want to be making money. They want to be running their own business. You're doing it, so and they can't, so that's what they project. Or like you said, someone's like, right, she can do a better job. Let's give her a little bit.
it's a nudge.
I always say like, you never take criticism. You wouldn't take criticism from people that you wouldn't take advice from.
Yeah, 100%.
I'll listen to your opinion and I will validate how you feel, and you can tell me how I should run my business any day of the week.
Yeah.
But if I don't agree with that because you're not doing that, then I'm not going to physically take your advice on. But I'll still listen.
Yeah, exactly. I'm still going to like ingest whatever you're saying, but
yeah, 100%. But
it's
going
up
back
to you
to
to
the-
deem what's like right for what you're wanting to achieve.
Exactly. And I remember I sat down with some family members and they were like, right, you need a business plan, you need a niche, you need a structure, you need a target audience, you need to block out how you're going to do this. And I remember I looked at these particular family members and I was like, you know what, thank you, but I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it well. And I just went literally balls in. It was like, cool.
Yeah.
I think you just have to make the jump.
Oh, yeah, that's, again.
Because you're either going to fail drastically or you're not going to try.
Well, and if you fail, then you learn from those failures and then you can push forward. Like,
exactly.
But
and I also
like,
don't have a house with 3 kids and no mortgage, so it's fine.
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
you're going to lose what?
That-
7 months of your life?
well, that's
maybe?
the same with myself. Like, I'm 31 and I don't have a kid. I have 2 fur babies, which I adore, even though they're freaking annoying. But they are what they are. I mean, I got homies and like other people that I care about that like have in my life. I don't have any like real liabilities,
Yeah.
so to speak,
why-
apart from like kind of making sure that I like pay my bills and stuff.
Yeah.
But that gives us the freedom of like what inherently my parents or my dad would used to say to me. It's like, oh, you can't do this because like, if you have a mortgage. And I was like, yeah, but I don't have a mortgage yet, dude.
Yeah.
So I can do it,
Yeah.
Or, oh, why are you up in Auckland versus like Dunedin? Oh, because I don't know, like decided to do it for myself and learn,
My thing was always like, everyone would try and tell me what was going to possibly go wrong. And I was like, look, I appreciate the opinion, but let me fail if I'm going to fail the way that I need to. Like you can't show someone how everything's going to crash and burn.
But Bobby,
Bobby.
bubble
Yeah, you
girl
can't.
and boy
Yeah.
life. You can.
You can't bubble
but
wrap
then-
me and
yeah.
cut them all and just be like,
because that was probably that first time you left Hawke's Bay in Wellington. That was probably a first step of being
that
away
was
from
a
home.
shit show in itself, but
Yeah, but that's probably even a full circle of the last year. You probably had a lot more of those moments
totally.
of like outside of what you actually want to do, your passion, things that personally happen that actually probably immediately derail you because our emotional like frequencies are just out of kilter. But then upon retrospect, they needed to happen for you to. They're always meaning to happen to be able to go.
And I
Whether it's
always say, like,
relationships or friendships or whatever it is,
Yeah.
it's just things blow up or
I always
internally
say, like,
combust to the point that like you got to make a change.
oh, dude, 100%. I always say like the universe will like what's it called? Run you over and kick you down the stairs. Like if you don't make the change that you need to make, and you know when you need to make a change, because everything just keeps repeating. Like the same lessons. So say you break up with someone and then you get back together and you break up and you get back the same lesson. So I was always told like the universe will run you over and then kick you down the stairs. So you either make the change now, or in 6 months' time, when you think you're ready, everything will turn to shit, and they'll do it for you. And so I'm always like, cool. Oh, that needs to change. Fuck, you know, like one of those examples was the relationship that I was in for like 5 years, and I was like, I need to be single now. And not even for the like typical like being single, like sleeping with other people, and you know,
just for yourself in a way.
Like, it's just like, I need to run my business exactly how I want, and I'm gonna have to move countries for that. I'm gonna have to meet new people. I'm gonna have to be just like alone.
Like you kind of got to probably like, I don't know, like life, like that decision, like life, when in the forward in the future, a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
Where you're like, you know, I need to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. But for this to happen, something needs to happen.
Yeah,
and
totally.
The person I'm with, the people I'm hanging out with, are not allowing me to go there. Then, a change needs to happen.
Yeah, and I never thought I'd get to this point. Like, to be really honest with you, and like everyone says that, but you never do. Like, you're like, oh yeah, that's fun. That's a potential that I'll reach, and you're always reaching a potential or working towards. But yeah, I remember I had like 200 followers on TikTok, and I was like, oh, dude, like, this is so cool, you know?
Yeah.
And then I hit 1K, and I was like, oh my God, we're doing this. This is happening. This is a real, legit thing that is happening. So now everything in my life needs to be working for me and not against me. And so, yeah, I made heaps of changes.
So was it those indications of like, even, you know, just numbers, how influential they can be, of 200 to 800 more, but the momentum of seeing people follow you for you actually being yourself, or doing things that come from your brain and that allow
just
you to
knowing that what you're saying is adding value to someone's life,
and
genuinely impacting them, and you're not just they're not just liking your photo or liking your
it gives you
face.
confidence of being able to like, hang on, I actually do have something more, because it's using another channel of research or perspective.
I remember I set a goal to hit 200 followers. That was the goal for January of this year, and I got to the end of Feb and I had like 10k, and I was like,
when did you start your TikTok?
End of Jan.
In the Jan. So you're like, okay, by 200.
I like truly, genuinely in my soul believes that 1k was so out of reach because I was at the start, you know, and I think that's where we like you said, like the imposter syndrome is where you just think that you're not doing what you are doing, and then someone's like, oh my God, by the way, here's all the success, and you're like,
and then the balance of like, and I mean, that's, we talked off air about, and that's kind of what you bring up, the TikTok stuff. Like, it's the recent amount of like success that you have had, but I want to talk about that, and that's kind of like the pros and cons, because I think there's a lot of people that like, we're in this day and age of physical sort of stuff. Oh yeah, thank you, sir.
Butler is here.
Butler is here.
What a fun podcast. No one offers me wine.
Yeah, it's all Jay. No, Jay.
This is great.
And shout out to Jay for doing the driving on us and picking up Ren. I just sat in the back seat.
Yeah, thanks for
You're doing all the stuff. TikTok. That's what I want to get into. No, because it's funny how like things naturally. And we don't need any notes or things. Hopefully, it's digestible and entertaining out there, but kind of freestyle and let it go. Authenticity.
Don't ask me where I started.
Need to put on a t-shirt when you're out here, you know.
She's gonna make merch. It's coming.
But like the whole TikTok thing, this is just interesting because, and we talked about it, like when people have some sort of acclaim, of notoriety of whatever they deem as notable or notoriety, like things can change around them. Like people give them more attention, or things can maybe change for themselves, whether in a desirable impact or not. So like, and you've probably seen a lot of people out there that you're like, I don't know, maybe it's like a kind of a seesaw effect where it's like you're like, oh, I don't want to be one of those influencers and stuff. But then you start getting this acclaim, and then how do you keep yourself sane and like, oh, obviously what I'm doing is genuine, but not gassing yourself up too much, like still being grounded. Like, what's the balance? Like, because I know we talked about it, and it's fucking sick. Like,
thank you.
But I don't know if I could handle, like, I don't know. What are you on TikTok now? That's the.
47.
I can't even really barely handle like 1,000 people following me on Instagram.
Oh, dude.
Like, let alone like 40, like, but not that you're talking to 40,000 people, but like just the
I think the
thought
influence,
that's
the fact that I'm reaching. That
or like the thought that 40,000 people have actually engaged with you to the point it's like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, how do you manage that?
Like, do I stay humble?
How you stay humble,
the
or
fact
like
that
no,
I
but
live with my mum and dad.
got you like. And like you said before, like you're not afraid to kind of say like, "Hey, I'm still new at this journey.
100%.
Like I'm learning. This is just a
100%.
blessing in that whole journey that I want to get into.
Yeah.
I'm still working towards. That's not the ceiling, 40K or whatever. Like these other things, and it wasn't even part of your expectation set anyway.
And I think that's it. I think when you essentially, like, growing up, I always had potential and I always reached a certain potential, but I gave up when things got hard because it's hard. And comfort zone is so much easier. You know, I don't want to study for 6 years. What the fuck's the point in that? So, like, you know, or like, you know, you'd get into relationships or friendships and they would become hard and you're like, oh, this is a lot of energy, I can't be bothered. Where with the business, it was like, right, you're doing this and you're doing this well. And for me, it was more just remembering that everything will happen and it's divine timing when it needs to happen.
Hard.
So if I'm going to go viral overnight and get 1 million followers,
And
that'll happen.
Destined to happen or whatever.
Yeah,
Hard.
My journey is very slow and it's happening over a certain amount of time. But being grounded is just remembering where you came from. And as soon as like 50K is great. Don't get me wrong, I'm very grateful. But there's people out there that have millions and millions and millions and millions of followers that are doing nothing in comparison to what I'm doing. So I think just remembering where you came from. Like a year ago, I was studying a degree that I fucking hated with friends and relationships and family that weren't supporting me the way that I needed to. And but also like celebrating those wins. Like I remember I had 200 like followers and I was like, what the fuck? We like went out for dinner. It was like a whole thing. It was huge, you know. But just remembering that there's always going to be constant growth. And if I want to get to these very big end goals of like going to Sydney and doing like TED Talks and writing books, and you've got to start somewhere.
Hard out, and like also like.
And I'm just a person.
Yeah, and not getting deeper. And I only like say that because I've never like talked to anyone with I mean, the closest person I probably talked to who was kind of probably similar to yourself was like Sarah Kelsey, like One Up Project, like, and that was probably a year and a bit into her journey, like on a similar time as where you are now in her journey last year. And it was interesting where like her purpose hadn't changed too much. It's been optimized in terms of what she wanted to do. Yeah. And then streamlined or adapted as she grew with it. I think that's but the acclaim and the numbers, purpose. The purpose, and that's what it's incredibly important of, and circling back to like authenticity coaching and stuff, that like it's allowing people to find that why and the why of that why. Because everyone used to say that, well, like everyone, just the people I talk to, they'd be like, what's your why? And I'd be like, honestly, I don't have a why. The why is that I've been put on this earth to do this. I don't know why. I don't know when. I don't know how, but it's just going to happen. And then I was like, no, my why is to get everyone to a higher vibrational frequency of life, because I've been so low vibe for a long time. And that's a why. Yeah, like, that's me. A why of why you if that you do what you do. Feel like how I feel. But like that understanding of like what's for what that you're trying to achieve, and then the why of why you got to that point. Like we talked about for nearly 50 minutes. Really? Of like the whole journey of like I was in a bad place. I was feeling down. That's why I decided to do what I wanted to do. Yeah, I think that's it. And it's like because I feel that I can serve a greater purpose and help other people. Totally. But having empathy in terms of I was feeling that way too. And it's a little bit more relatable. Bottom, you go, oh fuck, the only way's up, you know? And I think too, like when you do things, something that I always struggled with was the concept or the idea that everyone can do what I'm doing, but no one's choosing to. And I was like, okay, so does that mean that I should be or I shouldn't? Do I stay in the mold of the small town? Do I settle? Do I get married? Do I have children? And then just one day I was like, no, we're doing it, and we're gonna do it well. We're gonna do it well, as you keep saying. Yeah, do it well. Absolutely. We're
just do it till it makes you feel good. But my whole thing is like one life at a time.
And I like those choice of words, like do it well. Like some people like.
Like if you're gonna give it a go, like give it your all.
Yeah.
Because then you know that if it turns to shit, at least I've tried.
Yeah,
at least
exactly.
I've fully given
you've
it
tried and do it,
not
you know.
Just half-assed it, which is what I used to do in life. Was just half-ass things.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool, we're either gonna fail drastically and hit rock bottom, or.
That's dope. I love it, and that's also like probably my why a little bit is I like connecting with people, and like for this is the second official kind of repeat pod. So like it's a little bit of cheers for that because like, but it's probably been translated in other sort of situations outside of yourself with meet someone on the podcast and then kind of like develop a relationship or see them grow. Like
this is like
and that's a cool thing
that a relationship has developed though.
Yeah,
like you'd be surprised. Like a lot of people just want
it's cool.
the knowledge. They don't want the person.
Yeah, and I just for me personally, I like seeing people grow. Like kind of similar, not necessarily, you know, trying to be an authenticity coach or anything like that, but like it's more like about seeing just people like chase after what they want to do.
Dude, it's crazy.
And if I like sit on a couch and talk to people about their journey and then
in 10 years time,
and then like yo man, can I get this book signed? Oh no, you're out here in Sydney's high heights or whatever. Man, I need these TED Talks, you know. It is quite powerful when you put manifestation in front of a stranger.
And that's my whole thing.
That's that cool thing that, and it's fairness, like
and we joke about it, right? We go, I'll see you in 10 years and sign your book. Fucking wait.
Yeah,
I'll
hard
sit
out.
on this couch and this will sign the book.
Hard out, and this couch will somehow be still here or some bit of materials there somewhere, you know.
I find
but that's the cool shit.
Crazy.
Like, I love that shit. Like, and when you come to the realization of that, and you have those opportunities of taking a step back and you see other people progress. Not in a negative way. Like you can see people like go from like, you know, you're like, you know, on their level, so to speak, and when you see them grow. And then you're not part of it, and you're not part of it necessarily, but then you're like, oh wow, like that inspires me to be able to like do stuff, or I was there at the very beginning, or like, yo. Or and you have the opportunity to like work with them on an ongoing basis, then that's mean, or like hang out and have talks.
Yeah.
That's sick. Like that's probably my I like that shit, you know.
It's everything that I love, and when I do say like it is a genuine like sole purpose, like I could never imagine doing anything else. But I always say like you can be at the top with me. Like I don't need to be the only person.
Well, it's like a we thing rather than a
thing. Absolutely.
Yeah. And it's funny and
I
like
think that's what keeps me grounded. Is that everyone starts their
it's a
own
we,
stuff.
and it's like a we purpose rather than like an I purpose because inherently there's just more people that you're on the journey with.
At the top and no one's fucking there with me to to celebrate or share it with.
Yeah, but you
don't
want
want to
like
be that one person that's just like, yes, I am successful in and out, and it's like no, you've got no one to.
Yeah, and that's like one of those things you were saying before. It's like you could have like, you know, like heaps of acclaim. You could have heaps of funds, but ultimately, all the money in the world. But like, you may not genuinely be happy. But like, you're not gaining enough. You know, I use this word a lot. Like equity, equity in your own like sensibilities in life and understanding. Like that's a lot of the investment that like I've taken for myself just to do like. Because I've probably had a lot more of the time to do so by doing.
Yeah. I just love when you find your passion and you just run with it. And you go, wow. Like, I don't care what your passion is. As long
just
as
do
you're
it.
doing
And for yourself.
Yeah.
And like.
Your passion can be to fucking, I don't know, clean houses. And you love that. And that brings you so
That's what we're
much
saying
joy.
about the garbage things. Garbage things, or even like, I like my 9 to 5 or whenever I do go to work, my tomato stuff because it's physical. It's like. It frees up my brain, so then when I come home, I have a little bit more energy. I'm not depleted mentally. Yeah, and to have a conversation with someone or go off and do my own shit, you know? Just fire.
100%. I think that's what it's about. You just like wake up essentially and you go, oh, there's more to life.
Yeah.
I'm working in a job that I hate, in a relationship I don't love, with people in my life that I don't respect. It's like, whoa,
and what's
that
that
concept.
And what's that mindset, like in that concept, was there like something that like it hadn't crossed your mind over a year ago, but it became, and maybe it was you're aware of people acting in that way.
I think
And
that,
then
but I also think just
you hadn't put
being-
in action to the
Yeah.
point of like, oh, hang on, how can I even get to the confidence of making those like severe life changing conversations with other people
Absolutely.
that you care about,
Yeah.
but at the time like you need to make a move.
I think it's just knowing your worth, and once you know your worth by dealing with all the shit that you go through, like we talked about earlier, you know, like learning all the good and the bad. I know all my bad traits, and I'll use that to my advantage till the day I die.
Yeah.
Because once I understand those, then like you
Yeah.
can't use them against me. But I think once you know your self worth and you go, oh, these people in my life aren't supporting me. It's not that they're bad people.
No.
They're just not on your level anymore, and you're not on that level anymore anyway.
Yeah.
We're already up, so you might as well just keep going up. And I think
you can't be
that's the
stagnant.
biggest. Yeah, that's the biggest lesson. Like if people in your life aren't supporting you, it's not necessarily a bad thing. They're not bad people.
No.
You're just outgrowing.
Yeah, or the environment doesn't allow it to happen.
You're just not in alignment with that. You know?
Exactly.
And
Or
then
like
just
you're not in
stay
alignment
small.
with what you're trying to do. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all about you. It's all about your happiness. And if everyone was to die, you'd be here by yourself, so you might as well be happy.
Exactly. That's
Cheers
so
to
cool.
that.
Cheers to that. But I want to give you time to like. It'll come out to an hour. I'll always like try and keep it
Spill
in
it
the
on
hour.
me. Jesus
Spill it on your
Christ.
like nice white pants, you know. But like,
That's so good.
what's coming up after a year? Like, I know you've kind of launched your like divine feminine thing, which I only thought there was like things of like powerful like R&B like hotties. You know what I mean? Like they talk about divine feminines, and it's a Mac Miller.
Someone told me
But
that it
Mac
looked
Miller
like
album
it.
actually, so like check that out too. But like, you know, I always like thought that like term thrown in like, you know, awesome R&B superstars, you know, like divine feminine, like, you know, like feminine energy. But you got that workshop that you kind of launched.
Yeah, group coaching. So that
That's sick.
starts in 2 weeks' time. Sold that out in 3 days, which is just
Crazy.
ridiculous to think
Man.
about. But I guess that is just all about teaching women to step into their like most, again, authentic self.
Which and to be honest, it comes from like a place of like you're going on that journey as well, right?
Absolutely.
So you're like, fuck you, like let's do it together. Like let's
Why
like
not?
you're saying, like we
we
get
it's
to
all about
this
we.
elevated, you
Yeah.
know, divine interdimensions and stuff.
Absolutely, just becoming the best version of yourself
Hard
for
out.
you, not because you. It's like someone's told you.
Yeah.
You know.
And like, what else is like? You got that, and you got all your other
My
like, you know,
podcast is
nice.
starting up again.
Is it still the Authenticity Project, or is it something else?
Yeah. Authenticity Project.
Yeah.
So I just filmed the first episode back, so I've got to edit that.
Man,
Film the intro like this week, and then
is it going to be like audio and video?
I don't
This
know. I
one.
haven't decided yet, because then I have to like look nice all the time, and that's a lot of effort. Just to like like be mentally prepared. Sometimes I like to just do the podcast in my bed.
But is that not authentic? Just to rock up and get on front of the thing?
Actually, that's true.
Not
We've
not
just gotta
saying,
find a good
but
platform to post it on.
and a good way of doing a process of
Yeah.
bit of both, you know.
Maybe YouTube. Who knows? But
Who
yeah,
knows?
the podcast is coming back.
On.
We're currently in the brainstorming of merch. So,
Ooh, that's cool.
but yeah, just I think honestly the biggest thing that's coming up is just like the TikTok growth. Like it's just
And just how to kind of
Stupid.
like and take advantage of that for what it is, and just like
yeah,
continue the where
Yeah.
you want to go, the aspirations, and where you're heading.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
less about like business, like external, and more like business internal. Like give me
Always had to make an appearance, Mr. Phoebes, you
like
know.
what's working. Like at the moment, I'm just working on like the logistics of what running a business looks like, because now I know
Yeah.
that I can do it.
Yep.
Hi. Now I know that I can do it to an extent. It's like okay, let's.
Yeah, he's cute.
Let's do
It's
it
usually
well.
yeah, let's do a cuddle well, you know. Definitely Phoebe getting in there.
Thumbnail.
It's a thumbnail, like that's what he does. It's coming out to winter, so the Phoebe scarf's
No,
coming out.
I love it.
But
Yeah, big
but
moves.
it's big
Whatever
moves.
we're doing, we'll be fucking thriving.
Hard out, but it's just cool, and like, as I said, it's like mean to see. Like I actually, like, it's probably inspired me to have like more of these conversations with people that I've already had podcasts with, because like I do it anyway,
That's my throat.
but I feel like people out there who, whether they've seen the first one or they're just seeing you now, us talking about kind of that comparative,
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
quite
that's-
cool
that's
for.
great.
It allows people like, you know, they were talking about something that happened there, and she's gone there now, and it's only been a short
It's the
space of
growth,
time.
eh?
It's
Even
like,
the growth of you guys, like I remember our first like video chat, and you were like so shy.
yeah, to be honest, I was not in a good space then.
Yeah,
Like,
so,
I think it was like, I was just,
cuddles.
it was like, we were on lockdown, like my phone broke, like everything had fallen apart, and I was just making use of a good combo. And I was just like, I don't feel confident doing this. And then shout out Jay,
crazy,
like Jay was like, no, you should have a conversation with this Ren girl. And I'm like, oh, Yoshi, see, it's mean. I
That's
definitely
my
need some
throat.
help. Yeah, baby, come on. Not to try. Oh.
That's alright.
Sorry, Phoebe. We may cut you out, Phoebe, because you've been on your last strike for like years.
Are you bleeding?
No, you're good at this stage.
Is it sore?
No, it's
Phoebe.
fine. It's fine. You're so cute, but
He's
you're
cute,
so
but he's just got
aggressive.
Velociraptor nails.
Anyway, yes.
But
yeah.
no, that's cool. No, but I'm just saying, like, it's just mean to actually chop it up in person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even though we've done the last like couple of months, so we popped down to Napier, and no, thank you again for like helping us out with the sort of Napier like gig, like bringing your flair to the proceedings, because it was definitely fun. You know what I mean?
I think it's
It's a cool
cool
night.
when people recognise your growth. Like something that I'm dealing with at the moment is people actually being like, dude, you're fucking killing it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. You know, like it's nice to be recognised. So I appreciate
And it's
being
hard
invited.
and it's sometimes
Yeah.
it's hard, like when people they say like, yo, you've grown so much, but in your head you're like, oh no, I haven't done much.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, oh fuck.
That's the thing.
But then
To
other
me, I'm
people are like,
just
no,
on
you've
social
done
media,
this, and this, and this.
You know?
And then it's hard to, because your ideals of what you wanted to achieve in a year, might have been over-delivered.
It's just crazy.
It's a lot to see, but I'm
Like,
always
what the
keen on
fuck?
seeing what it means. It is what the fuck, and I have those what the fuck moments as well. Like
Like I'm
I don't-
21.
yeah, like that's the thing. Like I'm 31, 10 years older, but like I don't necessarily have all this like TikTok stuff, but in my world of like.
But the
I had
platform
no
you've
one.
created.
I had like, I don't know, I was kind of, had those moments of, like you were saying, those down and out moments of like, I haven't really got other people around me. I've got cats, like they're cute, but like I need other things, for my own personal goals and ambitions.
Totally.
And then look
And then it
back
popped
and then
off.
other things. And it's not about the monetary thing, it's just having people that like, you can talk to about
I think
things and just
finding
watch them grow and
something
shit,
That makes you feel good. You know,
A channel
like,
expression,
when
like you were saying.
people used to be like, oh, what do you do for a job? And I'm like, oh, I work here. I just had no confidence, and now people are like, what do you do for a job? I'm like,
I do it.
I'm a fucking female confidence and empowerment coach, bitch. Like,
Cracker.
and I'm good at it.
No, but it's on. And it's cool. Like, if you have female empowerment, confidence, authenticity
Whatever
coach,
we call it.
the acronym or whatever, but if you're just the best Ren you can be,
Yeah.
and, like, if other people can, like I've said to you, like, man, I learn things from there, or sometimes I watch it and I'm like, yo, shot Ren without saying anything. Like,
Yeah.
I needed that story. Like, I was feeling that way. Like,
And I think
allows-
that's the best part.
that's
is
the
when
cool thing
people
when
are just like,
say that shit, eh?
yeah, they're like, oh, I really needed that today. I'm like, oh,
'Cause you don't
I
know
really
what
needed
other
you
people-
to confirm that today. Like,
Yeah.
thank you,
It's fuzzy, eh?
Yeah.
But no, that's dope. But again, shot for coming through. This is me. It's actually like the first one in a while, potty in a while. Like life's kind of, again, not being perfect. Like I'm not on social media all the time. Haven't been of late, but sometimes sometimes I am. I mean, sometimes I'm not. And people who know me when I'm not on it, they're like, "Are you alright, bro?" Like, it's like, yeah, I'm just not inspired at the moment. But I've been
I think
heavily.
it's so cool that you can acknowledge that though.
Yeah.
Like I went
And I
through
don't
that
get
a
the
month
pressure.
ago, and I was like, I don't care. Like I
Yeah.
actually don't. I've got nothing. No, there's no creativeness in me. So I took a 8-day break, and it was like the best thing.
Yeah, and I've realised the pressure of like I'm not. Like,
Showing
I don't think they're like. Yeah, I don't think like every one of the people who follow me are like waiting for me to do my shit, because they've got their own shit,
Yeah.
So if I just focus on doing my shit, then it's
it's
you got to be
snowball.
you got to be patient in what you do. And I'm just energized now, so I'll probably shout out to my next 3 months of just
Yeah, do
bomb,
it.
and then 3 months of just
And
chilling.
take rest and
Yeah, it's kind of I don't know, it's good learnings, but I always like the face to face. But yeah, shout out Ren and shout out everyone if you got to this point, audio, visual, whatever. Hawke's Bay, shout out to Ren. Go and check her out. All the links are in the bio and in the Spotify's or whatever service you're listening and watching this on, and check it out because like she's definitely got some dope shit. She's just a good human being.
No, thank you.
So wizard. And
It's just the best of the best, really.
yeah, and actually there's another probably first, like Ren's outside of like a digital setting, like Ren's the first one that's probably taken my side on a podcast. I usually sit on that side, but maybe it's like an actual I had to break out of my comfort zone and like, you know, get into this and I kind of like it, you know. So
It's just
shout out to Ren.
No.
Shout out to Ren, like, you know, switching it up like unintentionally or intentionally, but definitely check it out because she's got some dope shit and she's a cool human being.
Thanks.
And hopefully she's not scratched up by Phoebe, but anyone who's had interactions with that cat knows that he's the real king of shit. He even got you into a position of like, help.
Yeah.
So I'm rambling now, so catch you on the next one. Yo. Bye. Shout out Red. Bye. Fuck, that wine got me. I got to the point I was